Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious. So I move with it.
Grace and peace, Black family. This is Vicky Dillard, your sister with the curly braids. And I want you to get ready for the new Master Elements project, The Spear and the Shield.
This vaccine isn't experimental. It's like a dandelion. You overlook it for their weird science.
DJ RP Beats and Sincere Love the God have taken this time during the pandemic to carefully craft the soundtrack to Black empowerment with hot tracks like God Mine, featuring Sadat X of the legendary group Brand Nubian.
We never die. I made an ancestral shrine. Let's see what's in the God's mind. Listen, I'm a law in a person of sincere of the God. That mean your arms too short like Carl Anthony Shaw.
God painted me black.
God painted me black. Thanks for that. I'm a original man.
A letter to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
I say to the ancestors. Dear Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, I just wanted to thank you for all the lessons you left us. So yes, I'm more than grateful.
And the controversial song Buck Breaking God today.
Why every black show they gotta have a transgender? Either I'm crazy or this gotta be a planned agenda.
Get ready, Black family. This is a much needed project. This is The Spear and the Shield.
What would you think about a parent whose children are hungry? They let them starve. Likewise, here in South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, we are the 6th poorest district out of 435 total as of the year 2021. And yet, where is our Congressman, James Clyburn? I can tell you, he says he will be in California, in North Carolina, in Florida, and Georgia. But what about the needs of South Carolinians? I was born here, I was raised here, I live here, and I'm going to be here. You will never have to ask, where is Marcel?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a very gifted artist in his own right, Mr. Chuck D.
What's up? Since we on Soul Train and still representing, let's represent stopping police brutality, all right? Stop Prop 21, build more schools, less prisons. Thank you. Because he has naturally been a clear and deep thinker throughout his life, the man we honor tonight has always strived to make others think as well, through his music and also through his deeds, whether it was the profound nature of his song, lyrics, and even though refusing to back down from his personal policy of never granting interviews, the artist has always been a strong advocate for non-traditional freedoms. The man has done more for the freedoms of artists in the last 10 years than anyone worth note, battling in the boardrooms to change the complexion of one-sided contracts, paving the way to get you and put music on the internet, and making creators and consumers more hip to the game. If you don't own the masters, then the master own you. And during the decade of the 1990s, he would challenge the status quo regarding what he believed was unfair music industry policies. And he would win that challenge also. Check this out. A quality body of work. Don't you agree? Question. Once you've touched the heavens of artistic genius, where do you go from there? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the male recipient of the Artist of the Decade Award for Outstanding Artistic Contributions and Leadership during the 1990s, we call him Prince, the artist. Prince. If you could, could we please remain standing? If you could. Check this out. Check this out. I want to read something for you. Some people find it odd that when we win anything in this game, we give praise back unto God. Well, in somebody else's game, any triumph makes us feel blessed. When it's your game, you make the rules, everything comes easy. All your friends are in key positions, so when you decide you don't want to play anymore, you never leave empty-handed. Can somebody say golden parachute? Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight, I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace and love for one another.
Man,
Right.
man, heavy.
Right. How you feeling right now?
I mean, I got chills. I got chills because how long ago was that? You know, and we're still singing that
2000.
same song.
2000. That's 22 years ago.
And we're still singing the same song.
And by the way, I don't know if YouTube or Facebook is going to like that, but I'm claiming fair use on that clip right there for educational purposes. You know what I mean? Our people need that education right there. So we're using that for educational purposes. Fair use, fair use, fair use. And as y'all know, that was the God, the artist formerly known as Prince, accepting the Artist of the Decade award at the Soul Train Awards. And dropping heavy gems on the family. And a lot of people in that audience didn't take heed to what our brother was trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
White ice is colder.
But anyway, welcome, family. Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the GodCast. This is the Black Business Showcase. I am the God, Sincere Love, here with my lovely co-host, Nicety Girl in the digital building. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday. Peace and Black Power, reparations. Shout out to Marcel. What's up, family?
Yes, indeed. Tamara Sheely Johnson Seeley. I always get it back one way or the
too.
other. Yes, indeed. She got that election coming up down here in Georgia. Make sure that y'all show y'all love and support for yourselves.
Right.
That's the way we got to look at supporting these reparations candidates. It's not about supporting them. It's about supporting the family as a group. You know what I'm saying? We putting somebody in position to represent us. Because right now, we literally have no representation in politics. Zero. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that looks like us, that has our uniform and uses some of our titles is out here representing some other group.
Heavy.
You know what I'm saying? But that's another topic for another show. Tonight, we got to do the Black Business Showcase. And of course, we got another great dynamic guest coming up for y'all this evening. And I don't have an official bio. You want to do the intro for our brother?
Yeah, I'll freestyle it because y'all know I got bars up in here. So let me spit my bars. So today, on the Black Business Showcase, we do have our brother from Johnathan from Guns and Chocolate. We will be discussing 2A everything today. We will be discussing gun safety. We will be talking state laws. We will be talking everything tools, power tools for the Black community. So without further ado, welcome my brother, Johnathan.
Guns and Chocolate in the building. Peace, family.
Pleasure to be here, guys.
Hey.
You know, that clip that you played of Prince is actually more appropriate to my page than you think. Now, I'm not saying I'm close to Prince. I like his music. My father was a fan. But what he said about how we represented in everyone else's eyes and their versions of their magazines, their Billboard 100, all that stuff, that is pretty much what I try to do for my page. I noticed that there was not visual representation online. Like, you could not just go see Black gun owners doing positive things. You would only see us on the news and in the movies. And I hated that. The Blaxploitation films, the every night on the news, you know, they driving these agendas home. And it was not normalized for a long time to see a Black person and a gun in a good way. You know, unless you were military or police. I mean, there's been instances where even Black police have been mistaken and been harassed, and some have even lost their lives. So what I'm saying is, the way that Prince wanted to, you know, make not just how they see us, how we see us. We need to see, our youth need to see us doing good so they can do good. So it kind of fits.
That's what's up.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Imagery.
I usually try to do that with the clips. I usually try to make it something that's going to tie in to the topic or to the guest, the specific industry, maybe, or whatever the case may be. But that one just came to me on its own. So the fact that it resonated with what you stand for so well, that ain't nothing but the ancestors.
Yeah,
I love what he stood for. Prince was amazing, and he had no fear about what he did. Like, you know, I don't listen to anyone else but us on my page. Like, it's really it's us. So
we all we got.
For real. I mean, I don't know how I wouldn't convince anybody of that. If you don't know that we all we have, then maybe you got it better. I don't know.
Right.
Facts. Now, we're gonna get all up in your Black business, man. That's what we do here, man. Let's get your origin story, man. Tell us about where you're from, how you grew up, how you got into the firearms game, and you know what led you on your entrepreneurial journey, all of that good stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna step away just for a quick second.
Okay. So pretty much, you know, I grew up mostly in Florida. Actually, I grew up in Tampa. Like, my teenage years were there, and you know, I didn't really have my father around all the time. Typical growing up, getting into things in high school. I was rebellious as a kid, but when I became an adult, I smoothed out and I became a truck driver. I knew I wanted to do that. And then through being a truck driver, I saw opportunities in New Jersey. So I ended up in New Jersey. And it was only in New Jersey. I mean, if people know about New Jersey's gun laws, they know that it's tough. You got to wait 30 days to get your license and all this nonsense. So as I went up there, I was driving for this local company, and I was in Newark, okay? And I was in, like, the heart of Newark. I'm looking around like, man, it would be nice. I thought about it, getting a gun. I didn't really know anything until a coworker of mine, he's from the islands as well. My family's from Trinidad. He was from Barbados, so we linked up, and he started telling me, he's like, yeah, man, you got to get something. So he actually walked me through the process of my New Jersey license and buying my first firearm and taking me to the range. Usually, again, in New Jersey, you go to the ranges in Pennsylvania because there's a little more freedom out there, and it's right across the border. So in New Jersey is where I really found out about all the laws, like why we have restrictive gun laws in the first place and how it pertains to being black. So I was educating myself, and as a gun owner, I started to talk to people around my circle, my family. You know, they thought it was weird. They're like, "Oh, he's a cowboy now." You know, I've always had an affinity for weapons since a kid. I was making my own bow and arrow in the backyard, you know, being a kid. But I saw it as a real line of defense. I said, "This is real," you know. So time went on. I kept talking. I would take people personally to the range, help them sign their forms, give them the confidence. Like, look, you got to do this. It's possible. I know it's, you know, it's a hassle, but they're making it a hassle for you. You got to fight through that, and giving them a history of why they should. So that went on for a while. My first real incident with a firearm it wasn't an encounter where I had to use deadly force, but in Newark, I lived 1 block away from the hottest block in Newark. I mean, Isabella. If anybody knows Newark, they know Isabella. I'm gonna say that. It's the hottest block. Huh?
I thought you was gonna say Prince Street.
Oh, that's that's another one. I mean, you know, but down in Valesburg, that was a very busy. I'll just say it's a very busy street. And one day, I'm sitting and I'm used to hearing gunshots, unfortunately, in Newark, but I heard them real close. I said, "Wow, that's like outside my window." So I heard 2 shots, and I heard a man scream, "No, no." And I said, "That is right outside in the street." And I immediately sprung into action. I didn't have a good medical kit, but I had something. And I had like a Rock Island 1911. You know, I thought I was, again, a cowboy, this big, heavy 1911. And I'm looking through the window, and I see my neighbor from across the street laying in the street. Man, I don't know what I didn't think too much. I just acted. I got up. I went outside my door with my pistol, and I looked to see if the danger was still around. And I said, "Well, hold on. I'm in New Jersey. I can't leave my property with my firearm."
Oh.
Okay, so I owned the home, and I could only be on my property within my gate with my firearm. I could not cross the street legally. I had to run back inside, swap my gun for my medical kit, which was very basic at the time, and run back across the street. I meet my neighbor with 2 holes in his chest, and he's sitting up in the street breathing very hard. Again, I'm not thinking, I'm just reacting. I had no medical training, and I'm just looking out for him. I cut his t-shirt off with some shears, and I'm putting pressure on his wounds. His wife is hysterical, calling the police. Now, this is what happened. There's a narcotics unit that frequents the neighborhood. I've been harassed by them. I've been pulled out of the car in front of my own house by them, okay? Because they didn't believe that I owned a home and whatever, just pure harassment. One of the narcotics unit comes around and asks me, "Are you an EMT?" I said, "No." "Are they on the way?" He's like, "Nah, but you know, we're gonna find." He starts looking for shell casings. Meanwhile, my neighbor is on the floor, and I have no medical training. Right. So he's not responding. He's got, you know, he's wearing jeans and a bulletproof, you know, like training day, and he's not worried about us. He's worried about finding shell casings and getting the guy. I'm like, the guy's gone, Bobby. You know, this man is on the floor. Ambulance comes. You know, long story short, my neighbor makes it. He recovers. You know, it was 238. No, not 38. 380s. They said it was to the chest, and the perpetrator ended up dead a week later, trying the same thing with somebody else. That's all I know. Oh. So these kind of things spur me to keep going with owning the firearm, because it could have been me. Another incident, the house that was behind me, that was the busiest house on the street, had a drive-by. And I'm talking about the bullets are going past my backyard. And I see the guys jump over the fence who were the perpetrators. and I couldn't do anything. I go over there. It ended up there were 50 shots fired from 4 firearms that hit 4 individuals. Nobody died, but they pretty much everybody had holes. And you know, again, if you know Newark, that stuff is actually very normal. And I said, well, if it's gonna be normal, I need to normalize the gun ownership, the medical training, and the awareness, not just awareness of being an owner, but the awareness of your surroundings. Newark is known for carjackings. I believe there's been many documentaries about the carjackings that go on in Newark. And I said, if anything, I got to do something because nobody's doing anything. Nobody was really, and I don't want to say nobody, but the people doing stuff in New Jersey weren't as at the forefront as somebody like, okay, you got Georgia where, you know, owning guns, and Florida too, where owning guns is normal. Texas. Yeah. So people are in the know, but in New Jersey, in New York, people are like, I don't know. Isn't everything illegal?
Right.
So, I mean, I kept pushing with that. And I still didn't have medical training. I ended up moving on from New Jersey. I couldn't take it no more. Mm-hmm. I couldn't take the cold, the snow every winter, just crowds of people. I'm from the island, so I like the heat. I need to grow some vegetables and fruit and have my peace. So it took me years, and you know, I bought an RV. Ended up in Georgia for a little stint. Georgia was cool. Met some cool people out there. Then made a whole journey out to Arizona. I'm talking about driving an RV all the way. As a truck driver, is nothing, but you know, you move in your house. Right. Ended up in Arizona because I said, man, I looked at Colorado, Texas, Washington State, Oregon. I said, man, it's too cold there. Texas is too wild. I like Texas. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little too much. I don't know. Everything big out there, and everybody drive too fast, big trucks. I'm trying to keep it simple. Okay. So I ended up in Arizona. That's where I live now. When I was in Georgia, I linked up with a whole bunch of people, and I got a whole bunch of people to shout out. But I linked up with Marshall Washington. She put on the Iron Sharpens Iron event where instructors and people from the community came to learn to be better in business, in instructing, get medical training. I met Doc from Steel Standing, who gave me my my medical certificate, where it's like my Stop the Bleed certificate. Okay, yeah. I got it right here because I want to show people what it looks like and that they can have their own. Okay, I need everybody to have.
Hold on.
Yeah, the lighting is pretty bad. I need everybody to have their medical certificate. Okay, Stop the Bleed. It's not expensive. The course is fun, and you know, now it's, you know, we getting past the guns now because everybody has the guns. We got to get into the tourniquets and the medical kit. Okay, because you got to be able to. Everybody can make a hole, but you got to be able to patch a hole. Okay, and if you're in a gunfight, chances are you are going to get shot. So you need to be able to patch yourself. And I wish I had this training with my neighbor. I had only seen how to do things, and I just somehow did it. But now I have the actual training and the certificate to say I can continue my training, move on to the next step. So I urge everyone who's watching this, heed my words. Get that medical training. You know, you can shoot a hole in a piece of paper, but you got to patch a hole in your leg, your arm, wherever. Somebody else. There was a recent shooting in Brooklyn on the train. I believe it's either Brooklyn or Queens.
You're talking about the shooting. I think it was in Manhattan, but dude.
Yes, it was on the train. Yeah. It was at the train station. I forget. I think it was Manhattan. Yeah. So, and nobody in New York is carrying around tourniquets. Nobody's carrying. So criminals will just be able to do whatever, walk off. But I like that. I saw this one gentleman giving aid with whatever he had. And I saw myself doing it for my neighbor, and I said, this, I don't know who the guy was, but hopefully he pursues his medical training. And who knows, in the future, maybe New York, New Jersey will get carry laws. I mean,
way in the future.
I would love to see that. You know, a lot of what I heard was, oh, I'm not even going to come to New Jersey because instructors would not even bother coming to New Jersey. Sad as it may be, it was a waste of time and money when you can't do certain things. You can't go to the range. You can't go to this range because they don't like us. You know, I've gone, when I got my Utah out of state, there was hold on, let me not cap. I went to another class and I was harassed. My friend and I were the only two black brothers there. Wow. We sat through the whole class. This is in New Jersey. We sat through the whole class, and we kind of heard tones. The way they describe things, the way they describe people, wasn't really the greatest. It was when we went outside. We were sitting in our cars talking about just shooting it. We were talking about just random stuff, and we got approached by the people who put on the class, and they're asking us, "Oh, so what are you guys doing around here?" And we're like, we just took the class. And he's like, what class? And we're like, man, we just took the class, the concealed carry class, and you know, going over the laws and stuff. We were sitting in the back. We kept quiet. We just listening. But the fact is that this behavior is, we know what it is.
Right.
They're trying to sniff around and find out why there's dark people where they are. Straight up. Right. A lot of people will tell you when they go to the range, they get the bad stares. I've gotten them all the time. I mean, I'm 6'5", so I get that off rip. But there's definitely like, oh, do you know what you're doing? They're looking at you like, is that a Draco? Is that a Glock? Like they're looking you up. They're looking you up and down. And I hated that too. So to create the spaces where we could learn and also celebrate ourselves, because if you don't lead with positivity with me, I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. And I feel like I hit a unique balance between having entertainment draw people in to education. I guess I get some flack for it. I've improved my page a lot, but for a long time, I've been trying to link people together. We have, like I said, people from California, Texas, Florida, the whole country, and we really trying to be together on this. And platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it may be, is a place for us to get together and share and learn on the specific things that deal with Black gun ownership. So for I say since 2017, I started the page Christmas, was it the day after Christmas? 2017, and I've been nonprofit since then. To this day, I've made $5. I accepted a donation. I do not accept payments for posts. I do everything in my free time, off the cuff. Like this is not something that now business-wise, I've done a calendar, I've done a bag, I did t-shirts. I got to get back to the t-shirts. People love the t-shirts. But this promotion of instructors and good shooters, when I say responsible gun owners, that's got to happen. That can't ever stop. And I see that there's new shooters all the time. You know, I take no credit because everything that I show is us. You know, I poke my head in once in a while, but I'm like, I love Batman, right? I love Batman, and I'm like, Batman is in the background. He's in the shadows doing his thing. So I'm like, let me not be all up in the camera, being a clown or doing anything. Let me take it off of me. I'm just one guy. Let me put it on everyone and make it a space for everyone. And it's tough to balance that with that many people, but I try and keep it going, you know? And I hope that people could just go, not to just my page, but they now have a cloud of Black gun ownership on the internet that they can go and see, hey, This person's doing it. They're doing it just fine. They excelling at it. I mean, listen, if I shout out people, I'll never be quiet. Like, there's so many people doing excellence out here in the community.
For sure. We rocks with a lot of them. We had a lot of them right here on this platform. I think Black gun owners might be the most frequent industry on the Black Business Showcase.
Showcase,
more than the food industry, more than any other industry. We've had firearms instructors, gun shop owners. You know what I mean?
I love
Second Amendment, all of that stuff. More than anything else on this show. But let me ask you this, brother.
Yeah.
This might be kind of a personal question. I don't even know how you're going to answer this, but just listening to your story, you know what I mean? The situation that took place where you saved your neighbor's life. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even give yourself credit for that, but you saved somebody's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the mentality that you had behind wanting to get into the guns, being into the Cowboys, being a fan of Batman and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're speaking a lot about being like a savior to people. You know what I'm saying? And being a help. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm curious to know, what do you think your purpose is, your God-given purpose for being on this planet?
My purpose, I believe,
and how that ties into what you got going on.
Well, I've been always a helpful person, sometimes to a fault. I've had my car stolen because I got out to help someone. And I would do it again. I wouldn't have my car stolen again, but I would help that person again. I give people the shirt off my back, but I don't do any of that. Like, I really can't say I feel obligated, or even it's something I was raised with. Like, people need help. And if you have the opportunity to help, again, I mean, I guess as a kid watching superheroes like Batman, like, you know, you gotta help. The firearms thing to me just makes sense. Like, it came to me I was hiking. I'm an outdoorsy kind of guy, so I'll be hiking in the mountains. I'll carve a spoon out of a piece of wood to eat my oatmeal, and pick some fresh blueberries. That's normal to me. Like, I'm really barefoot, you know, Bear Grylls type stuff. So that then tied into survival and having weapons on you. I always have a nice knife on me. My family and everybody knows me as the knife guy. What you got in your pocket? Something expensive, 2 or 3 knives. You know, I've had a bear stand up in my face. Okay, I didn't shoot him. I could have. He was like, "Oh, okay, you another bear. All right, cool." He walked off. And getting back to what you said about my purpose is always to help people who could benefit from it, need it. I try not to think people need things, and I try not to be pitiful. I'm never pitiful of people, but I see no reason to stop helping. And that's just, I don't have anything else going with that, because I was just raised like that. I gotta be, you know, I think Bruce Wayne it could have been better for the Gotham than Batman with his money. You know, he could have spent some more bands, but you got to do things. I'm also unorthodox in everything. And I noticed everybody's sharing, like, okay, I'm gonna get to the nitty gritty on that. As far as the page goes, there was no other page putting out Black gun ownership like that. And any Black gun owner on Instagram, Facebook was lucky or hoping to get on a non-Black platform. Okay, because there was that all the time. And I said, man, why? What they, you know? And I see the comments. I see the things that people say. I've heard the comments. I've had them say it to me. You know, Black people don't know what they're doing with guns. If there's a race war, y'all gonna lose. You know, it's, you know, the worst. And it's like, why? And then I noticed that we say it about ourselves. I said, no. So I started out, in the beginning, I started sharing images of, and and it's Guns and Chocolate. The chocolate was originally for like, you know, I'm a male, so as a male, you want to see black women. Like Foxy Brown is the first and foremost. You see her, you like, damn, she is everything a black woman, like, you know, I don't want to say should be, but it's like, damn, that's and she toting a gun. That's powerful. Those kind of images really resonated with me. My parents weren't gun owners, but I mean, again, I'm unorthodox. So I do what I'm doing. I started sharing those images, and I realized that I had to scour Google, movies, magazines for these images, and they weren't really real.
Right.
You know, it was cool, but they weren't really real. So I had to look and see who was really real. And by finding not just females, but everyone, just finding everyone who's representing. There's the Guns and Butter thing from Baby Boy.
From Baby Boy, yeah, that's what I thought.
So he says, you know, there's the guns, and then there's the butter. There's the real stuff in life, and then there's the fun stuff in life. So you got the guns, of course, that's self-explanatory, but the chocolate represents us, the richness, the quality. You know, chocolate is a semi-healthy stuff. You get the dark chocolate, you get the good stuff, the cacao. And something that's also been exploited, but still is something of value. I mean, royalty, they eat chocolate. Right. So chocolate for the skin tone and the representation of who we are in terms of being rich in culture, rich in values. So I said, man, I just said it out loud to a friend over the phone. And shout out my friend Darren. He's still in New Jersey. Darren, he had my mind flowing. And I just said guns and chocolate. It's like, yeah, guns and chocolate, baby. And he's like, yo, that's it.
Dope. That's dope.
So I took it full steam from there. And I went on a mission finding all the images I could find, the images and video that I could share, take myself out of the equation in the background and say, look at us. That's why I said what Prince said, look at yourself. Look at us. Because if anybody goes on that page, they're going to see, you could probably scroll and see yourself. Like, you're going to see Body by O. You're going to see himself, his wife, Tasha.
My brother and my sister, by the way, I trained with them. Yeah,
I mean, listen, they are awesome.
Awesome.
O is, I met O, I was in the Planet. What's that?
I said O's birthday is on the 29th in 2 days, by the way.
Oh, word. I gotta shout him out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I linked up. Okay, so moving on from where I was in New Jersey, actually, I gotta tell the story of how I linked up with Surplus Army. I don't know if you guys heard of them, but Tom at Surplus is one of the foremost. He's not the only one, but he's the foremost manufacturer of rifles. And like, it's my mission to have as many people have a black-owned rifle that's manufactured by black hands.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, so the business is Surplus Arme. SURPLUS ARME. And they're in Chester, Pennsylvania. And when I tell you Tom makes his own rifles, they're unique. They are, they're different and they're nice. He knows what he's doing. He's an actual gunsmith. He went to school for it.
Can one of y'all put it in the chat, by the way? Sorry. Can one of y'all put that in the chat? Surplus?
Yeah.
I got it. I wrote it down too.
Okay. You got Tom, his wife, Ty. You got Darren. Okay, so Tom is the owner, Ty's his wife, and they do incredible work. I'm talking about, he has a shop in Chester where he gives back to the community. Like, he doesn't gouge on ammo. He keeps stuff in stock. He keeps a plethora of guns for everyone. So no matter what size your hands are, your shooting skill, they put on classes. They have ladies' night, great, everything like on point. And he's a family man. He got his daughter into guns. Action Addie, she's the cutest thing ever. Then you got Darren, Mr. Darren Watson. Shout out. Born to Protect LLC. this man is doing security for Doja Cat, traveling the world, private security. He'll tell you, I don't want to give his all business away, but he's doing his thing. And he's an instructor. I mean, down to earth family man. You got Lamont. Lamont's there. He's and these are all instructors. Lamont, Nate, Keezy, Handy. They some of them are agents. I think Handy is a PA agent where they can all do private security. They do events. And I trained with these guys and they really taught me a lot of stuff. And I said, man, I got to get out of New Jersey and be able to really rub shoulders with all these people. True Breed as well. Shout out True Breed. But that whole clique up there in Chester, they are on point, family oriented, black, like for the community. Okay. So that steals my motivation to keep going.
I want a black owned rifle.
Yo,
Right.
I ain't know
exactly.
I ain't know that was a thing.
Exactly. So I gotta make sure and let everybody know Surplus Army got, and he's not the only one that makes rifles, but he's I like his the best. But everybody's gonna get, like, that's a tough thing. Sharing equally is very tough, but I want everybody to get their shine in somehow, but be able to grow. It's the growth that we need, because we can't be waiting on other people. So shout out to Surplus Army, Tom, Ty, Darren, Nate, Lamont, Keezy, little Action Addie. She gonna grow up to be a straight shooter. Like, you growing up in it. And that's the other thing, is we gotta remember that there's gonna be a next generation. We're not gonna be the only. We gotta make sure that the next generation is not, the next generation got to be able to take a damn jog down the street without being harassed, and with the confidence that they can do what they need to protect themselves legally. And I'm tired of seeing the headlines, man. Every time I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about that. I do not like seeing.
I'd rather be judged by 12 versus carried out by 6.
That's Hoodneck. Hoodneck got a shirt that say that. He got the 12 and 6. Yeah. Shout out Hoodneck. Yeah. Another.
We gotta be the sacrificial generation for our children. You know what I'm saying? We can't have them going through the same fight that we going through, that our parents went through, our grandparents went through. Like this shit gotta stop with us. So I feel you 100% on that.
Yeah. Hoodneck is another one who's doing a lot. He's got a 501c. He's I think building a range. He's always interacting with the community, but especially he's in there with the kids. If you're doing stuff with your family and your kids, that's the most powerful. Like, you can be an instructor for the masses, that's cool. But when you have stuff that's being passed down, that I feel like the substance of it, like we have culture and family value that gets passed down. It gets passed down in the food, in the music, the way we spend our money has been passed down, and we changing that. Some things we going backwards to the stuff that worked. Like
food.
When the slaves were free, they had land, and we're doing good for like 7 years, owning their own stuff. And then we integrated, and then we want to be like everybody else.
Right.
We still, to have this thing where guys are riding around with the Dracos in the Louis Vuitton bag. And I'm like, man, at least put it in my bag. At least put it in the bag I designed. But, use a black-owned bag or a black-owned rifle. Whatever you're going to do, bring it back to our community, because there's no reason not to. I'm actually going to be signing up for SDI. It's a little offshoot to my story, but SDI has a school of gunsmithing. And right now, that's one of the components that we can integrate to. Like, okay, we got the guns itself, we got the medical training, we got security training, we got ex-law enforcement and military, Now we can get into actually teaching ourselves. Tom at Surplus puts on what they call an armorers and gunsmithing and AR building courses where they learn how to build an AR-15. That's the next step, because in the future you're talking about 3D printing, everything being laser coded. Is gonna get. We don't know what it's gonna be, but we have to be prepared. So, staying on that forefront, like our kids are gonna need to know CAD maybe to mock up designs for their own firearms. That's how SIG and Glock get their firearms. There's people with brains who design this stuff. That could be us too.
Yeah.
There's no limit really. So that's really the main mission, is to keep us going to where it's normalized.
Let me ask you this, brother. I gotta ask you this since I got you here too. But I'm trying to send a message to Crown 808. They say Crown is she can't type inside the chat for some reason. So Crown, try to do it on Facebook and see if that makes a difference. Try to do it on Facebook.
By the way, you mentioned that you were from Trinidad. I've been to Diego Martin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Trinidad. Trinidad has become. It has actually gotten very violent. Trinidad is now they're third in crime behind America and Canada. Just from sheer population in America and Canada, even above. I mean, per capita, it's an island of 1 million people. But you know why? I mean, people can argue this with me. We can debate on it, but Western culture has infected the Caribbean. That's it.
The whole world. But
in the whole world. But I'm saying it took longer to get to Trinidad. Like it affected like Jamaica earlier. But Trinidad had to
CIA all up in their mix, you know what I'm saying? Cultivating criminal elements and all of that stuff. So there was a lot of meddling going on in Jamaica. I don't know too much about the history of Trinidad, but I know a lot of the Jamaican history and how it ties into the American government over here. Even in South America, a lot of those places.
Trinidad supplies 1% of the world's oil. 40% of the Eastern Seaboard's natural gas is from Trinidad. Like, it's a very rich country. They share wherever Venezuela's getting their oil from, Trinidad is 12 miles off the coast of Venezuela. So those same deposits are being tapped. And Trinidad has, wealth because of that. All kinds of other export. Okay. And Nicki Minaj can be the only export from there.
Right.
But, that's what I still have people today. It's like, that's where Nicki's from. I'm like, okay. And whoever, celebrities, but past celebrities, we have major exports, timber, fruit, all kinds of stuff. The problem is that they wanted now to be Americanized and have things like Jordans and cars and go out to Applebee's on a regular, and having that takes money. And when you need money as a young kid, you're going to do things to get it. That's a direct line. When you're young and impressionable in poverty-stricken state, and you want to continue life, you're going to find any means to do it. If there's a girl that you want to take out, you got to have money, a car, take her out to Applebee's, wine and dine, do something.
Right.
If you got to rob somebody for that money, that's what they're going to do.
Right.
So the crime has become rampant. You got Venezuela feeding into that. Other islands, Trinidad is just a place where people come. Actually, because of that, in recent years, you've had more people getting their certifications and getting licensed in Trinidad. And I'm amazed to see it, actually. Yeah. I never thought I would see an instructor from Trinidad. I got to find that guy. And it's because I have trouble finding people sometimes, but I'm always finding new people, following them, sharing, because, for instance, you guys didn't know who Surplus Army is.
Right.
That's just, it needs to keep going. So I try to spread the web of our community.
Right. Yeah. I just went on his IG and I saw him on with Johnathan Solomon, which is my instructor here at Redstone Firearms in California.
Redstone.
So, yeah, I've been with them for 4 years.
Awesome. Is Johnathan in Geneva? they doing it big. I like they got it locked down over there. They got their shirts and pat. They got like not just their training, but they make things look good too. And they're up in the community, like they understand what we're doing. You know, they're on a mission. Everybody, I think everybody that I share and talk about and link up with has a mission. And I think that's what drives things forward, is that they see that, okay, we keep promoting, keep training, new shooters, education. Like we going back to basics almost all the time. Like we might not need to go back to basics, just keep things foundational and then build from there. Like if you keep forgetting the foundation, you know, your building's not going to be sturdy. So like, okay, for instance, what I mean in depth on that is like the entertainment part has to be there to draw people in, but we got to make sure that the substance is also there. So like a reel, somebody would share a reel, it could be funny, but you got to get the point.
Right.
Like they're showing you what not to do. They're showing you what you should do. And you got to really listen. I've seen that dry instruction, and if you boring and you robotic, I'm sorry, it just that's how we are as human beings. Right. So especially as Black people, we can need some flavor. Right. We need some flavor when we're doing anything, and we trying to, you know, don't fight that. Like I'm trying to have cookouts at the range. You know? Just wash your hands first, please.
I worked out with Johnathan, Geneva, Body by O, and Tasha, and let me tell you, it's fun and cute on camera, on these reels and stuff. But when you get out there on that dirt, all business, all
sweat.
Business. I'm telling you, I come out, I'm dirty, I'm sore for 5 days because we doing jumping jack push-ups, running, we doing some of everything. So he's no joke. He yells at me, Johnathan, stop yelling. But yeah, no, it's fun though. But, you know,
hey, it's something about Jonathans that yell.
Oh, he yells at Body by O is worse though. Body by O, Oliver is worse than ever, but in a good way, because it makes you learn and makes you get better at the same time. And when you're out there, obviously you're holding a firearm. Safety is first. You know, we have other people out there, so you know if you're screwing up, he's gonna let you know. He ain't gonna say screwing up, you enough, you know. So, but I love all of them because, you know, I started shooting. My son shooting at 13. He's 17 now, you know, and he shot with those great men and women, you know what I'm saying, and got better over time, and no longer has that fear, you know, of firearms, and he feels like he can protect himself, his mother, and whomever else if he needs to.
I was gonna tell you. Workspace, front office, like he keep you on point. I never forget, man. I actually can't wait to get with him again. I mean, he travels. The man has I mean, that's excellence to me. Like you travel and you teach. It's not easy. You got to pack up your guns and your cases. You got to have all your classwork. Yeah.
But I want to ask you a question before we get too far away from the Trinidad thing and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because listening to you talk, you know, it's obvious that, you know, you're very pro-Black. You know what I'm saying? You got love for your people. And even hearing you talk about foundational Black American history, Nicely and I are both foundational Black Americans. You know, our family are descendants of the people who were enslaved here. And even hearing you talk about some of that history and what we were doing right after slavery and all of that, you're not speaking about it as if you are something different, as if you are something separate. Like there's an obvious connection there that you have, your mentality. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And a lot of times I usually don't bring this up on the Black Business Showcase, but I think it's relevant, you know what I'm saying, to your story and your background and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times we have people that come from the Caribbean, come from African backgrounds, and they view themselves as something different and kind of look down on foundational Black Americans to a certain degree.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So what is it in your background? You know what I'm saying? Is it your family that you came from, neighborhood that you grew up in, that gives you that strong connection that you have to us and just to Black people in general?
Okay, so I'm actually the firstborn American. I was born here in America, and I was born in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I'm the first American on
What
my
part of
father's,
Brooklyn?
and I was born in Kings County. I grew up on East 21st Street off of Flatbush.
Okay, so there's a lot of Caribbeans over there.
Yeah, man.
Tell the Caribbeans over there.
Yeah, I mean that was like, if you know Flatbush, you know Flatbush.
Bit, the 90s and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was in Flatbush from 1990 to 97, 96, 97 as a kid, you know, but my parents raised me to understand the world. My father is very pro-black. I mean, I grew up understanding who I was. I definitely never, like, I get what you're saying about looking down, because, man, there's some pompous Caribbeans that think that, you know, they speak in the Queen's English and all this stuff. Great Britain was heavy in the Caribbean, so people have this attitude where, you know, it's a class system. So, but I always, you know, I did live in Trinidad for a little bit, but I was mainly American, and I understand, even though the waters separate, the Americas include the Caribbean and South America. I mean, arguably, maybe I don't want to argue the point, but, you know, the slavery was as bad in South America and in the Caribbean as it was in the U.S. I mean, did you know that there's Confederates to this day in Brazil? Yeah, there's an entire Confederate community that immigrated from the U.S. to Brazil to continue their owning of slaves, because America was like, no, we got to stop that. I mean, you got to think, people moved from America to Brazil to continue to be slave owners. So I never saw myself as different. Here's the thing, I understand I'm visually different, but I know what's going on. Like, if you look in Africa,
we got Negroes over here that look just like you.
Yeah,
I got them in my family.
You know?
I know in Trinidad y'all got like East Indians and Portuguese and all of that, so there's a little bit of mix going on, but we all mixed up too. So it's a lot of FBAs that look just like you too.
Yeah. My father's side is all African. My mother's mixed.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're gonna get down to it, I don't have any European, well, to the point that, you know, we know, but I was never raised with any of those values. I mean, I know exactly what it is. So I always understood. My father prepared me mentally. He said, son, no matter what people tell you, okay, mostly to the government and police who's going to interact with you, which is why it's important. You are a black man. You are going to have to work harder. You're going to have to be better. You're going to have to watch out for this and that, like, and why things are going to happen in my life. Like, I was always aware. I've been pulled over and harassed, and I know what it is. I've been called every name. Like, my experience is I hate saying normal, but I know what it is. So I've always had a passion. Yeah, I mean, I also.
What you're saying.
Yeah. So
that's my co-host, y'all. That's my co-host. That's my co-host. She don't.
Your father did not raise you to be a coon. Is what you're saying.
At all. At all. I mean, he's a self-made man. I mean, he came from Trinidad, poor. My grandmother taught him to go to school. He went to presentation, which is the best school in Trinidad. He went to Northwestern here in Chicago. I mean, he's like, I love my dad. Like, he's black excellence walking, okay? He's not famous, but he instilled in me and my brothers that who we are. So,
shout out to
you know, it's not even a question for me.
Shout out to your pop.
I've never even been involved with any other women than black women. Like, that's just, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Thank God.
Look, nicely about to have the Holy Ghost over here.
I'm about to have I'm about to do the holy dance in here because it ain't often.
All right, so back to business, man. Back to business. Let me ask you this, dealing with the law a little bit.
Right.
Is there a such thing as common sense gun control, or is all gun control anti-black?
So all gun control is anti-black. Shout out to Mash Teray. He got the shirt. All gun control is racist. It's true. When slavery was first, abolished in America, one of the things that one of your rights that you had now was to own firearms, and they wasn't having that because that was the way that they enacted power on you. Some of the first gun laws on the books that we have now originated from keeping you as a black person from owning firearms, because now the laws changed to where if you so you come off the plantation, I'm talking about straight off the plantation, you don't have anywhere to go, you are homeless. Now being homeless is illegal. Now that that's illegal, your rights will be taken away again. So they give you rights that they're gonna take away again, and that's what gun control, gun laws are. There's no common sense. Like, that's just something that people say to appeal to.
They'll sound good. And my thing
it sounds good.
In Jersey, right? All the gun control, all the gun laws that they had, and that's not stopping what's happening. People popping off in the middle of the street, your neighbor getting shot 3 times in the chest. So those gun laws are not working. What you do need is responsible gun owners out there to help, deviate some of these problems out here. When you have someone robbing someone, well, a responsible gun owner can thwart that. Not necessarily kill that person, but if there's someone there that has a firearm, they can stop, someone from getting hurt, perhaps. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, again, all gun laws are racist, period.
And to touch on what you just said, Tennessee, this is right now, 2022. Tennessee just passed a law to make being homeless a criminal offense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple to them.
56% of Black America are homeless.
50% of the homeless are Black.
Are Black. That's half of us are people that are homeless. So again, we got a new way to fill up the prison system.
Another thing, speaking about the prison system, is the reform. Recently we've seen a lot of reform on marijuana, but what about the reform on firearms? Like, I really cannot blame a Black man, especially in America, who wants to defend himself and his family, if he cannot find the legal means to do so. I cannot sit here and judge someone for trying to do it by any means, especially when they were kept from doing it legally in the first place. So now you have tons of brothers sitting in jail for firearms charges when they weren't really violent charges. There's violence, and then there's just you getting caught with a gun.
Right.
And a lot of times it's not like, if only if only they could have had their permits, their cards, whatever, CCW with them, say, hey, look, I'm legal. It would be different. But if you so if you get harassed when you go to the range, if you get the run around when you ask about how to get your permit because the people you're asking don't look like you and they don't want you to ultimately have the power to protect yourself, you're gonna just either give up, move on, and that's gonna put you in another predicament. Like straight up, again, a lot of these racists out here, they gambling on, do we have guns or not? And I like that they gotta think now.
Right.
Okay, think twice, because we armed now. I like that.
Right.
It's not right to be
no more soft targets.
Exactly, no more soft targets. Right.
That's a t-shirt. Just give me 10%.
Hey, listen, if it sends the right message, I don't really care about percentage, man. I gotta get the message out there. But yeah, like it is so important for everyone to know what they can do up to the limits. Like, no matter what state, again, if you're in Jersey, do what you can. If you only got 10 rounds is all you get in Jersey.
Right.
10 rounds. What you go?
Right.
California,
your training better be on point. That reload game better be on point.
Right.
California is the same, 10 rounds. Here too. We're just as bad as Jersey with the laws.
With that 10 round load, does that mean you can't have extra magazines?
You can have extra magazines, but when you buy a firearm, it's only going to be 10 rounds in there. Yeah. And we cannot buy an extended magazine.
No. Your magazines have to be pinned by the FFL. The FFL has to have the gunsmithing ability that when they get a firearm in, that they can modify the magazine to put a pin in there to limit the capacity to 10. It's not even like you should only load 10. Your magazine has to be physically limited to 10. So if you buy a 17 round, a firearm that holds 17 rounds, you can't possess it until they go. I mean, really, it's not going to stop a criminal. A criminal is going to go buy a 17 round mag or whatever, a 30 round mag, 50 from somewhere else and do that. I mean, we would train like, okay, you got 10 rounds, you need like 3 mags now. Like, you just better reload, like you said, you know? It really doesn't, on the face of it, it sounds good that they say less ammo. I don't even know how that, it's not common sense at the end of the day. It does not make sense. It's not common, you know, it's just stuff they say.
It sucks when I'm at the range, especially being outdoor with Johnathan and Geneva. I'm the one, you know, because, you know, we're doing our drills and I'm constantly having to reload, you know, run back to the tables, you know, to, you know, well, I have a few magazines, but again, I don't have the extended, like, you know, he can have, you know, as an instructor. So it is very frustrating because it's like
some of the videos I've seen with y'all. Some of the videos I've seen with y'all at Redstone and all that, y'all do got ARs and all of that stuff too, right?
Sure.
Yeah. ARs.
So the ARs are modified to only carry 10 rounds?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, yes. Do you know what a bullet button is?
No.
Well, in California, ask Johnathan about it. Ask Redstone and them about it. A bullet button was where the magazine release was modified to have a smaller button inside of it, to where only the tip of a 223, 5.56, whichever one, can depress that button and let your magazine out to slow you down for the reload, because that would prevent mass shootings. So he wouldn't, the mass shooter wouldn't be able to reload as fast if he had to use the tip of a bullet to put in the button. I mean, yes, like look it up. It is crazy. It is crazy.
I mean, most of our mass shooters don't have 10 round only firearms. Let's be very, very clear.
Right. They ain't following.
They don't look like us.
It's true. You know, and not only that, they, you know, honestly, other communities have a little bit of head start in terms of having money and growing up with it. So they got their grandfather's rifles, you know, classic stuff. They just got stuff passed down to them, and they got the money and the inclusivity to where, oh yeah, come on, well, that's us. Come on, we got our own stuff. Okay. I can tell you stories about, okay, when you guys, I hope you guys link up with Surplus Army and Tom, and they'll tell you they have had issues, and they are legit in every way. They have had issues being run off of ranges, being harassed on their own range, when they own their own range, being harassed. Okay, I'll let them tell the story, but I've been harassed at the range. I have people DMing me like, where can I go? Because feel safe at the range with people who don't look like me, because they are acting like I'm not supposed to be there. And
it's not just the range though, it's gun stores, just a Turner's, here, popular retailer, it's uncomfortable because the attitude is you're not supposed to be here. You get there before someone that doesn't look like you, they're gonna go around the way and help them over you. Like it's just a very uncomfortable feeling all the way around.
I'll keep it 100 though. I haven't had that experience here in Georgia, and I was expecting that. You know what I'm saying? When I got down here, just going to the range and all that, period, was just something foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in New York, it was like niggas going to the range and shit. You know what I'm saying? like we really about to go up in here? Like we walking through the parking lot, with big guns and all that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I'm looking for the police and shit. And so I was kind of expecting to get that energy because there's a lot of white boys in there, of course. You know what I'm saying? A lot of hillbillies up in there, but no, it was never like that. Everybody was helpful, and you know what I'm saying? Either minding their business or you do you. They used to seeing black people around here at the range. It's not uncommon. You know what I'm saying? Even though I felt like a fish out of water, but
Stoddards is pretty cool. I've been to Stoddards, and they're pretty cool.
Was that in the city in Atlanta?
Stoddards is in Atlanta, and it's diverse. The range officers there are black. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, okay, even with other customers, right? Have you ever gone into a gun store and had a white customer look at you like, oh, I was getting this for you. I was getting I mean, it's a look, man. It's a look. Like
that's funny. That's funny. I was about to go hunting, but the deer is right here.
Not today. Not today.
Yes,
so
indeed.
So do you are you also an instructor, by the way? Do you do classes? Okay.
I do not instruct, and I don't think I want to. And that's not because I can't.
On the paramedic stuff, though?
No. Now, that I would consider. I'm so busy as a truck driver. I'm actually off the road right now. I'm helping my mother. She's getting a new roof, getting the house fixed up. I'll be back in the truck in like a week. But I can't really take that on. There are truck driving instructors too. It's not something I want to take on. I would like to be private security ultimately and own a store. So the route I would take is that I want to be a gunsmith, an armorer, whatever capacity that is, because getting the technology down and having quality firearms is also important. So I don't really want to be an instructor. I have taught people how to shoot. I have been a guest instructor for, like, when O came to Philly, I was there helping the extra students. I let them do what they're good at because they are the real ones. I have a long way to go before I'm a vetted instructor, and that's something that we're talking about right now in the community, is the quality of our instructors. So we have a boom of new instructors, which is welcome, but we also have discrepancies of the curriculums and what's good to teach, what's not good. People are bickering. I have to play mediator. Like, man, don't shit on this guy over here because he's trying. Like, I have to always say, be positive, and I still have to do that to this day. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, but this is something we need to remember while we're doing it. You can look at somebody else, how they do something and critique it all day, but we already getting critiqued. So we need to help each other. I've tried to be an instructor for truck driving. I mean, not try, I've done it. Okay? But I also make a grown man cry. Because you behind the wheel of a 80,000-pound missile, you can't mess around. I've had to catch people's hands when they had a negligent discharge. They come on the range and they shooting and they lose control. You know, we had to ask the guy to leave. So
Yeah.
I'm a little apprehensive myself because I'm still young. I'm 35. I'm like, I ain't, you know, you mess up. Johnathan gonna yell at you, like you said. You know, because I don't know.
Do you own a truck?
No, I don't own my truck yet. I didn't want to. I'm looking to own a truck soon. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have a cousin
And
that's a truck driver too.
That's another great, like, this country is so good with the truck driving, man. Like, if you don't drive a truck, own a truck. Real estate. At 25, I can tell you, I owned my own home, had tenants, was a truck driver, had a car. You know, life was good. So I've been there, done that.
When you started driving?
I was 21.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I've been driving 12 years. I've seen every state other than Hawaii and Alaska. You know.
My 18-year-old is expressing some interest in getting his CDL, becoming a truck driver.
Yes. Hey, you're gonna travel the country. You're gonna become cultured to the country. It's a beautiful country, like visually. The people are cool, depending on where you go. You know, and it's good money. It's a skill. Like, you know, I'm a good truck driver, and I keep it that way. I take serious responsibility behind that wheel. Okay, we had a driver who killed 4 people last year because he lost control, and he's coming down the hill. He lost his brakes, and he rear-ended a vehicle with 4 people. They were giving him consecutive sentences, not concurrent sentences. They were giving him consecutive sentences.
Yeah.
So there was a whole petition for that, but this truck driving is serious. So I would say we actually need more truck drivers. We do. Like, you can ask any dispatcher company, we need more drivers. And I myself, I've probably put at least 50 to 100 drivers on the road. Okay. Up in Jersey, I was instructing at this company, and I took it. I loved it. You know, I was teaching people how to drive trucks. So, you know, and I've taught people how to do, like, when I say I've taught people how to shoot, I'm not a full-fledged instructor, but I know how to be safe. I'm gonna help you fill out your forms, because filling out that New Jersey form is 2 pages, mental health background, you know, all kinds of questions. It's grueling, and it's daunting to the point where you might not want to do it. So I think education is always the key to most things. So if your son is interested in that, go for it. You know, go to a good school though, for sure.
For sure. I wanted to ask you about mental health too. You know what I'm saying? When you were talking about, you know, coming from the Caribbean, living in Jersey, well, Brooklyn and Jersey, you know what I'm saying? Newark, New Jersey, and the heart of the hood and all of that. Going through that experience, and then, you know, you expressed how you needed to get away and get into back into the tropical environment and all of that stuff. Have you ever had any mental health counseling or anything like that? Any type of debriefing from those experiences? Because I know it could be like a whole culture shock for one, you know what I'm saying? And just being in a war zone for a certain particular amount of time, you have to kind of debrief some of that.
Unfortunately, I have not had official counseling. I would love to. I think that no matter if you think you need it or not, everyone could use some counseling.
I agree.
Especially like you said, I mean, I didn't really get to enjoy Trinidad to the point where, you know, I remember being a kid there and eating mangoes off the tree, but that was a small portion of my life compared to Flatbush. You know, I'm hearing there was a time in Flatbush where they were hunting the police. They were hunting the police, so the police didn't want to be out there. I will come home to seeing addicts being strolled out with needles still in their arms. I was street smart. I was taking the train at 7 years old. Coming to Florida after that to Tampa. Tampa is rough. Again, ask somebody from Tampa. It's no joke. Like, I was in Temple Terrace. I've been dodging bullets in the street, and I've done that. It's not, to me, I could say it's normal, but it shouldn't be. And then from Tampa, going to Newark and experiencing flying bullets there, cops harassing me there. It really was more the same. And I said, man, I need the sun. All this cold weather is killing me. And I need to own, I own an acre in Arizona. Okay. And we're going to talk about buy that land. I don't care. Buy that land. Whoever's listening to that, buy that land today.
Buy that land.
Please. Because we need ranges too.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We need private ranges too. Buy it for yourself, buy it for us, buy the land. Buy back the land, I should say. And be comfortable working it, because it's not a bad thing to be working the land. I know imagery tells you don't want to be out there in the sun working the land, because that's what we were kidnapped for. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason we were kidnapped to do that, because it's valuable to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So back to the mental health part of it. Yes, I've seen a lot, man, and how I deal with it. I mean, I escape it. Truck driving gets me away from it. I mean, truck driving itself can be stressful, but I've had to have techniques I got to get through the day, man. I mean, a brother's got to get through the day. I can't. I know it's too typical to hear someone say that they just gonna bear the weight, but I take that in stride too.
Mm-hmm.
I take it in stride. Life is not supposed to be easy. My father didn't have it easy, and he made it work. He's excellent, like excellence on feet. So yeah, I would like some counseling, but as far as how it ties into guns, now let's get into that. We do have an issue in this country, period, of suicide and people using firearms on themselves. Now, right. Is it because of the firearms? No, it is a convenience, because you have pills, you have all kinds of other things. I mean, if you go to Japan, they're jumping off bridges because it's just what is convenient.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's the thing. In suicide and self-harm, it's usually the convenience that goes into play there.
And they're not banning bridges in Japan, by the way.
No. I mean, New York's got some fences around the bridges, but that's because they don't want to have to pay to get your body out more than they care about you. Right. From a humanities perspective to a Western perspective, then to a Black American perspective, we need counseling. Yes. So I urge, thinking of, oh man, I got Don Firearms on my mind in Maryland. Connecticut. I'm sorry, brother. He says the 2A is a healing modality, because getting together on the range and going and shooting and getting some stress out can help.
Right.
Being around people who think like you, not think like you, but like-minded enough to say, we're safe, we're together, and this is fun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important.
Nicely.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, most of our guests, I think all of our guests, in the gun industry, none of them have police or military background.
No.
Okay.
No.
But you would kind of expect that. You know what I'm saying?
You would.
Well, they are there.
We always assume they did, and none of them did.
Because of the page, I know who's military and law enforcement. Mm-hmm. There's actually a lot. That's very common. So a brother or sister will go into the military. They will come out with the skills, and they'll either transition into law enforcement or go straight into instructing. That's very common. I mean, in Georgia, you got a lot of ex-cops, you got ex-military, and they'll take that skill. Now, I want to say right now, that is part of the discrepancy we have in is where people believe that being in these organizations gives you a certain
authority.
Yeah, it's a seniority, authority. You know, it's like, oh, you were a soldier, so you know what you're doing. That's not necessarily true now, because how the military trains you for warfare is not how you're gonna be at home defending your family. Like, it's not necessarily transferable, but there are certain things. So we're getting through the minutia of what it is people need to learn. And there's also the police and community interaction where, you know, that's not always the best relationship. I mean, that's kind of putting it light, you know.
Very light.
It's tough, man. I've never been harassed by a black officer. I really can't even say that. Policy comes before your color sometimes. I mean, some people put the policy, when you're in an organization, the rules and policy happen first, right? And the culture happens after that. So it's not always a one-to-one of, you know, because you're a black cop, you are great. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that anybody I know, they on point. I can name a whole bunch. Carl in Texas, Carl and Alicia, awesome. I mean, you talk about high energy couple. She does Alicia does yoga instruction, so she's high energy. Carl, you know, they exercise, they shoot guns. Carl is former law enforcement, but he keeps it real. I mean, I've seen these brothers critique current law enforcement, so I can't say that it's like black and white. It's not, you know, cut and dry in every situation.
That's a reason why he's former law enforcement, though. It's a reason why he's former law enforcement. You know?
Yeah.
Because like you said, they become a part of that culture. They become a part of the organization.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they blew first.
Yeah. I try to always find out the people. I repost, find out the people. I try to vet people, in at least in terms of, are you good for our community? Like, not just your color,
right? But
are you with this community? And so far, it's been like, if they're not with it, they know. Don't even come over here. Like, so I could say I had a pretty positive experience with everybody, despite their background. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, with that being said, how do you feel about, you know, the movements of black militias? You know, you have the new Black Panther Party, you have the NFAC, and maybe others. What's your thoughts on,
I'm not judging anybody. The thing is, like, all right, NFAC. I understand the feeling, but we might disagree on the tactic. Okay. I don't feel that being rah-rah in the street at all works.
No.
That's just me personally. But as my position on the page, and people have told me that, you know, I'm kind of a central area, not me. The page is kind of a central area. And the subjects that we're talking about transcend law. Like, and they transcend, not to say it flies in the face of law, because we need some kind of structure. I mean, besides law, we have code, what we call code. Okay. So if we have a good code, I mean, look at the Black Panther Party. They didn't necessarily worry about the law as much as they worried about the code for the people. They weren't breaking the law, but the code was alongside. It was better for us, you know. So I wouldn't discourage any militias. I would say, you know, try and understand what it is you're doing, how you're portrayed. Okay. Purpose? Like I've been told to steer, to just fly straight away from NFAC. But at the same time, I will allow someone to say their piece. And if we can't even hear each other in the first place, how are we going to get there? Like, we need to have the conversation. We can't just avoid each other. So that's where I'm coming from.
I understand it.
You know.
Do you have a website up, brother?
No, not right now. Not right now. Right now, I am focused on just Instagram. I'm very busy. I would like some help. If anybody wants to do it in their free time.
Again, we need developers, family.
Right.
Please.
We need some developers.
Please,
with the brothers at Ogun Firearms down in Texas. They need some help with their website as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Shout out Ogun. Yeah.
Yep. So if anybody is connected with any web developers out there, hit us up or contact our brother Johnathan at Guns and Chocolate. And let's network.
Build.
Oh, right.
Let's network.
But we have a magazine. I say we, the community has a magazine now called Caliber Magazine, and that's put out by Black gun owners. Yeah. Philip Smith. He's the owner. Man, I hate when I draw a blank because there's so many things going on. I have my notes right here, but Caliber Magazine, the Survival Sisters was on Caliber Magazine. That's that was one of the things I wanted to see is the magazine, because we have, like, in the gun community, there's Recoil Magazine, there's all kinds of gun digests. Okay, we need our own gun digest.
Absolutely,
that's it. We need everything we deserve. Like, there's no limits, you know. Clothing, apparel, firearms, ammunition, everything. Okay, so
tactical gear, all that stuff.
All that.
Even the medical equipment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We should be, you know, self-reliant and not have to depend on our enemies to supply us with our needs.
Get your bags. Get your go bag.
Yep.
I got like 4 tourniquets on me right now. Okay, I got one for each one of my limbs, or for one for 4 people. I have 4 tourniquets. I got 45 rounds in here. I got, you know, I'm ready. I got.
Where's your knife? Where's your knife at, man? Let me see the knife.
Hey, come on now.
See the knife, man.
Stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
Okay. Get quality gear. Please buy some quality gear. Okay.
Don't be cheap.
What's that?
I said stop being cheap.
Yeah, you know, invest in yourself, I say.
Yeah.
Investing. And the thing, look, I'm gonna say it since I'm on camera. If you can afford Jordans, if you can afford Louis Vuitton and Gucci, you can afford a black-owned rifle, you can afford some quality gear, get your medical up, because you don't have to be the John. Everybody want to be on John Wick's. Listen, let's have our own characters to look up to. I mean, even me, like looking up to Batman, I'm over that. Okay, let's have our own characters to look up to. Let's have, you know, people, like figures in our community look up. People gonna be looking up to Tom. They're gonna be looking up to O. I mean, O got the beard, everything. The man's gonna have a statue, maybe. Okay, he's pretty cool. So, and also on the business side, we need to invest in ourselves. Like, no cap, I released a bag, like a weekend bag that had it was gun themed, but also it was like designer themed. So the thing was, you want the designer look. It was waterproof, but you want to be incognito. And I I'm all for being incognito right in your face. Like when people talk to me, they don't know I got a gun. They don't know. They don't know anything. So like hiding in plain sight kind of thing. Long story short, people didn't buy my bag. I'm gonna tell you this. They did not. 2 people bought it. Now I'm not, it's not salt. It is noticing that we still are latched onto Louis Vuitton. I mean, you got Louis Vuitton magazines. You got Gucci straps for your rifle.
It's corny to me. That shit like that is
corny. Yeah, listen, guys, it is a little corny because we have, not just me, there's a whole bunch of black designers out there making great stuff.
Yeah.
The black owned, there's black owned rifles now. It's been like that for years. Tom has been cranking out rifles for years. Okay, I'm on the list. I have one coming this year. This year I'm gonna have my black. I'm gonna be putting in anybody's face. Okay, go mess with Tom. Yeah.
I just had a thought too. Your man, your man that does the rifles, we need to connect him with like Ogun's firearms. You know what I'm saying? Where they could carry his stuff in their store. Redstone, Redstone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We need to make those type of connections.
Yeah, I mean,
Redstone is connected with him.
Yeah, Redstone's
already linked. All right.
They doing it.
They also do AR build class and stuff like that. So they give classes. They build there already.
Yeah, they have bags. They have patches. They got T-shirts. I mean, I'm saying, like, buy their stuff. I got hood neck shirt. I got upper left tactical shirt. I got surplus army shirt. I'm wearing my father's shirt. You know, my father made this. You know, I wear our stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. Everything ain't for everybody.
Right.
You know, there's no reason not to. Everything gets shipped. You gonna be on Amazon or you gonna be on your brother's website? Like, we gotta decide. So again, the intro from Prince is like, yo, let's own our own stuff, please. Buy that land. Yeah.
There's one thing
I also see the B1 sister Taisha on your page.
Taisha Essex, Ty Monex.
Oh yeah.
She's been doing it just consistently. She always is sharing Black history. She actually goes to monuments and sites.
Yeah, she's sharp.
Very dope. Did I shout out Marshall? Marshall Washington is another sister who look up National Range Day. She has actually created National Range Day that happens on the week of Juneteenth. So on the week of Juneteenth, on National Range Day, she's gonna announce when it is every year. You wear all black and you go to the range, no matter where you are. You just show up at that range in all black and show out. Okay? Because we here.
Yep,
and it's
on their page.
Yeah. She created iron sharpens iron. I feel super honored. Let me get in the light. I feel super honored to have been a part of that, where she gathered instructors, people in the community, top level shooters, competition shooters, and brought them all together, medically trained people, ex-military, and got like a workshop community. Like we trade in business acumen, skill set, like everything. And she put that on, she put that together for us. Like, I don't know.
Magic.
It's magic, yes.
Black girl magic.
Black girl magic.
And you know what?
And
I love to see the guys on your IG for the guns and chocolate, but I feel like it's just something so dope when the women are out there shooting. They're beautiful. Yeah. You know, I'd be like, dang, sis, out here, like, you know, setting it off. It just looks so dope. It makes me excited. And yeah, we got to do more of that, y'all.
Hey, especially the young girls, man. You know what I'm saying? Survival sisters and all of that.
Survival sisters.
That's dope to see. Derek Grace's children, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I love seeing shit like that.
Yo, it's a lot. I mean, I actually struggle to keep up with the community now. Like I'm playing catch up, making sure everybody gets shared, like sifting through what people send me, answering questions, you know, because I don't do it full time. This is literally just my hobby for the last 4 going on 5 years.
Well, you got
non-profit
30K followers on there. So you're doing something right.
You know, non-profit to have 30,000 followers, you know, a lot of people ain't doing that.
Right. That ain't easy. That ain't easy
okay?
At all.
But I love doing it. So now listen, y'all want to pay me, that's fine. Donate, all that, donate. And I need some help too. I need some employees. I need somebody. You want to write an article, editorial, all
what
that.
I need all. Let us know what you're looking for, what you need help with in particular.
So right now I would mainly need help with spreading the word, and like, okay, I need to know what's going on out there to come to me. So in a better fashion.
Okay, so you need a minister of information.
Yes, because I have to actually scroll, find. I have to
repost,
get suggestions. You know, like I need somebody to be in the field, like bringing it back, then sifting through. Is it good content? Is it purposeful content? Like that all has to happen. So,
gotcha.
I've built a repertoire of people that, like, there's the core people that post all the time. Their content is always dope, and honestly, I kind of let them do their thing. Like I try not to over promote too much when you already doing it, because now you got to shine too. Like, all right, people know who you are. You're doing the damn thing. Cool. I got to uplift the next person. So again, doing that by myself, like just on reposts and stuff and comments. I would like to interact more, but maybe I can go full time with this. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see you do like tutorials on your page with the like survival kit stuff. You know what I mean? Showing people how to do like the tourniquets, showing people how to do basic survival stuff. You know what I mean? You know, whenever you got time, like that type of content, I think that would hit nice on your page.
Yeah, there's a thing. My brother, Pewologist and Pew Brothers, you know, like it's make medical cool again. You know, because the medical part is what's really lacking right now, and in a real response to any kind of situation where there's guns, like any kind of violence, you need first responder. Like you need to be your own responder right there. Okay, so like I said, I have 4 tourniquets at all times on me. I got the full medical kit. Like, you know, I'll go through my bag lightly, you know.
You ready? It's like our brother Daniel.
Get ready to stay ready. You got to stay ready.
If you don't have one of these and you don't know how to use this stuff, fix that.
What's the point?
Okay.
If
you can't have a gun on you, right? If you can have a gun on you, you can have one of these. There's no permit needed for these. So get one of these. You know, going through would be a lot, but this is and shout out to Steel Standing, okay? Doc from Steel Standing. Yeah. Link up with him. He doesn't promote himself enough. I told him. But the man knows his Steel Standing, Doc.
Not Dexter.
I call him Doc.
It's not Dexter, is it? His name's not Dexter, is it? Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Like he follows you. Yeah.
Doc Dexter. Yeah, his name is Dexter, but he goes by Doc. Yeah.
Yeah, tactical emergency casualty care. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Right. You know, so for instance, you know, he doesn't promote himself as much, but he is a quality instructor. Okay. So that's where, like, I would come in and boost him up. Like, y'all need to get in his class. You know, I would do that.
Oh yeah, he's on
Because
here.
not
doing
everybody
it.
has time to promote themselves.
He out there where you at?
Yeah, he on here doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yo, we are doing it. I'm saying, like, if you look back if you could scroll back on my page, you'll see the transformation. I started, you know, there was some scantily clad women with guns in the beginning that just drew attention to the page.
I ain't mad at that.
You know,
Right.
but it got the attention that it needed in order to keep going forward with the next one. You know, and now it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's amazing. I took that class with Tom and Nate and Darren. Like, it is amazing. It was amazing. Learning how to, like, when you know how to put on a tourniquet now, like, the fear kind of, like, what are you going to do? Like, how you going to drive to the hospital bleeding? You know, if you think about that, you'd be like, man, that don't make sense. I got to do it right here, right now. So, so now with the instructors are doing their thing already. Let's get them promoted. Let's get their business popping. Please go back to your instructor over and over. Do not take one class. Please take multiple classes. Okay? Go back and sharpen your skills. We need more community events. We need more getting together. Let's get in this competition shooting. You got brothers out here blazing this competition shooting. I mean, you got barber training solutions in Georgia. That whole clique, the competition shooters, they killing the game. Deshaun Jenkins, he's literally like climbing the ranks in, I think it's USPSA or there's IDPA, there's USPSA, and they out there looking like, okay, everybody saw Keanu Reeves training for John Wick and all that. Okay, whatever. It's cool. We doing the same thing. That's it. So get in there, get the like we have such athletic acumen as well. Like when you see barber training solutions out there, Trayvon is his name. Trayvon Barber. His athleticism, it ties into his shooting. Like, he can get low to the ground and shoot from below a barricade, and you know, his body is in it. He's fast. It's part of the health as well. That's another thing. We're getting back to our health. All these things are really encompassing on like, okay, health-wise. Like, if you want to defend yourself, you got to be healthy too. You got to be in shape to make that run, to lift that thing off of you, to lift yourself up. So being physically fit, being healthy, all ties in. When you go to the range, like when you go shooting, wash your hands. Don't eat that lead. You know, mind your mental state. All these things can revolve around the gun community. I think people think it's only guns, but it really is. It can be a pillar of our community as Black people. You know?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I rocks with it, man. So yeah.
What y'all need from me?
Say what?
What y'all need from me? Because I got people. I want to shout out a few people too. Because I just want to make sure they. Yeah. Look, I got it written down. It's not everybody. If I don't say your name, I understand. If you on my page, or you even around my page, you in there. Okay. Everybody on there is valid. EDC guy, I gotta shout out EDC guy. He has a book called Erica's Big Day. It's about teaching young kids about firearms. It's about a young girl named Erica. It's a character named Erica who is presented with situations where other kids, they find a gun and she's educating them. It's like Dora the Explorer, but with guns. It's very cool. Very cool. I have a. Damn, I left the book inside. I should have brought that. Erica's Big Day. Okay, DDC guy. Hoodneck. Y'all know who Hoodneck is?
I know who that is.
No.
Hoodneck.
He has stuff that's in Redstone too.
Yeah, Hoodneck. He's bringing like the, it's the hood and the redneck together, like the country black folk. He's out in Texas.
I did see something like that online.
Yeah, man. He's very down to earth brother, like very cool. He's doing the thing. He got a 501c. He's putting it on for the community, for the kids, growing food, land, buy that land. Okay, we went over surplus, body by O, survival sisters. Rhonda Mary is, I would call her an activist. She's a social activist. I would say that. She's always talking about, like, she'll be in DC talking to people about it. She's an advocate in the highest sense. And she puts on very entertaining but informative stuff. Check her out. I went over Marshall. I mean, people call Marshall the queen of this whole thing. Like, she's been doing a lot. She really has been doing a lot. She stays quiet a lot too, because she's very busy. But I'm sorry, Marshall. They're gonna hit you up now. She's doing the thing. Taisha, been doing the thing. What else? Who else we got? Shout out Wandra and Soji. What, like, he's one of the hottest shooters out there. He's a pretty boy with the guns, but the man can shoot. He can shoot a gun with no sights. Okay, he's good. And we like brothers from another mother. We kind of look similar, and he's cool. We went over history, laws, training. Like, I gotta make sure I hit everything. Yeah. Oh, Mike Smith over in Georgia as well. You know what I mean? He trained T.I.'s kids. He did security for the Migos. Like, the man knows what he's talking about. You know, he got his wife out there shooting in high heels and doing it, hitting targets. Like, his kids could shoot, the whole family could shoot. He's one of the most down to earth people I've ever met, and that's the one thing I like. Everybody is like a real person. It's not, and there's some celebrities. I know Tyson Beckford. He's a gun owner. Tyson actually owns a surplus rifle. So, yeah, it's, that's very cool. Yeah, shout out all the competition shooters and the instructors. So,
I don't like your ringtone.
Nah,
that sounds like a serious ringtone.
That's the whistle name.
I was like, I don't like that ringtone.
That's that.
Well, shout out to everybody, though. Shout out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Come on over and do the Godcast with us. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're doing for the community, what merchandise you have, what trainings you have, all that. Let's talk about it.
Y'all need Tom on that show. This show. Tom and his family, they are like, it's gonna make you smile. It's the most wholesome thing ever. And from there, there's a rabbit hole from there.
You got all your shout outs in?
That's it for now, yeah. I'm gonna go to the page and do it from there. I'm gonna continue from the page, yeah.
No doubt, man. So yeah, this has been a great conversation tonight, man. A lot of good game. Definitely dropped tonight. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good insight. You guys, again, make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you guys share this out. Click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will be reminded when we go live with new content. This is the Black Business Showcase. We do this every Wednesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So make sure y'all check us out tomorrow. Who we got tomorrow, Nicely?
We have Feminine Mystique tomorrow. Feminine Mystique on tomorrow.
It's going to be an interesting one.
We're going to be talking about vaginas tomorrow. Lots of vagina talk, clean vaginas, not so clean vaginas,
we're going to get into
the real homeland, the real motherland.
Yes, the motherland. We're going to talk about the motherland tomorrow.
There you go. So that's going to be an interesting one right there. I'm looking forward to that conversation right there. Make sure y'all tap in That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. And also, y'all can check us out on Sundays. We go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, and we talk about different current event topics and other important things that are pertaining to the Black community. That's what we do here on Sincere Love the Godcast. So appreciate everybody tapping in with us tonight. But before we let you go, Brother John, we got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
Yep. I know he's ready. I think he's looked at a few shows, so he already knows what's coming. What does freedom and power mean to you?
Freedom and power, what does it mean to me, or what does it look like?
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to you?
What does it look like?
Freedom and power means that you have the ability to control the world around you and keep yourself safe with that power. You gain the power, you gain the health and the wealth, and you can also protect it. You have the freedom to do that. Everything else can fit inside of that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Like that.
Yes, indeed.
Buy that land, own those guns, grow that food, teach your kids, love your people, love yourself.
That might go with this. That might have went with this part right here, but I'll put you on the Summer Jam screen.
Okay.
Give you the microphone. You know, the entire Black community can hear what it is that you have to say. So what parting words would you like to leave us with tonight? Buy that land, own those guns. What else?
Well, that I'll say it again. Buy that land. Protect that land by owning those guns. Grow that food to keep yourself healthy. And use any resource to gain wealth, whether it be selling the guns, selling the food, selling the land. Gather yourselves, strengthen yourselves, and let's do it together. Protect what's yours, grow what's yours, and just be comfortable in controlling your godhood on the planet.
That's what's up.
That's how I put it.
Message.
Appreciate those words. Definitely.
I received that.
Definitely. Listen, man, hit me up whenever you drive through the Atlanta area, man. I would like to meet you in person, man. You seem like a real good dude.
Already, we're gonna shoot some guns together.
I'm with that.
We gotta do something, yeah.
I'm with that.
Same here. If you come to LA, you know what I'm saying, come meet with us at Redstone, you know what I'm saying? Come out there and shoot with us. You know, they do it monthly, outdoor range days. They're like 3 to 4 hours long. So we would love to, you know, have you out there, network with you, and of course shoot some rounds with you.
Only 10 rounds though, only 10.
Reload.
All right.
Yes, indeed, family. So that does it for today's episode of the Black Business Showcase. Appreciate everybody tapping in with Sincere Love the Godcast. And remember, tune in again tomorrow and Sunday as we take y'all black to the future like we always do. You got anything nice, Steve, before I let them go?
I want to thank you again for letting us all in your Black business tonight, Karen, and dropping these jewels. And of course, the shout outs. Blessings to you, your family. And again, thank you for doing the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
And remember, family, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. Peace and Black love.
Do for self or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious.
What would you think about a parent whose children are hungry? They let them starve.
Here you go.
Likewise, here in South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, we are the 6th poorest district out of 435 total as of the year 2021. And yet, where is our Congressman, James Clyburn? I can tell you, he says he will be in California, in North Carolina, and Florida, and Georgia. But what about the needs of South Carolinians? I was born here, I was raised here, I live here, and I'm going to be here. You will never have to ask, where is Marcel?